is my first declutter video. I have never done one. This is why. I tend to just kind of thin out the herd as I go. I have bought makeup for sure I should never have bought. I have 117 palettes. Now that's not a lot compared to some people. Erica Conger, I'm looking at you. Teresa Mulhern, I'm looking at you with love and adoration only. But you guys are the types of YouTubers and people out there that make me feel like, okay, it's not as bad as it could be, but it's still not good. I also want to say, I don't hate anything I own. I love all this makeup. I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't love it. Some of it I got in PR. Some of it I got sent to me. But either way, it's always something that I'm intrigued by or interested in. Whether or not it turns out to be something I can use, that's another story. I'm not doing it by brand. I'm doing it by product. So if it's a blush palette or a highlighter palette, contour palette, rainbow palette, monochromatic palette, whatever, that's how I'm going to go through them. And I'm going to compare them. And if I feel like I have too many repeats in one category, thin out the herd. So let's get started. I'm going to start with smaller stuff. The first thing I want to start with, because it's a very specific category. I don't think a lot of people have these. It is my graphic liner collection. Now, before I get started, I would like to thank Aunt B for the sparkly nails. I'm not wearing jewelry because I'm wearing the nails. I have some great liner palettes, which is funny because I don't use it very often. I remember when the liners first came out, there was one company that had a brilliant formula, and it was Midas Cosmetics. Now, Midas Cosmetics is either completely defunct because I've not seen anything from them, or they're still rebranding. I don't know. But these are their split liner palettes. I'm getting rid of these. And it's not for any other reason than I have two other palettes I actually do use. These are great. I have no problem with them at all, but I just have not used it. I've never used this one. The other two split liners that I have, first of all, this one is from Artitude Cosmetics. It is their Split It liner. I have used this a lot comparatively. And one of the things is that there's a lot of these colors in the pastel palette from Midas. There are also a couple of neon colors in this. Yes, we're going to keep that. And then the other one I'm keeping, which is another graphic liner. This is from Glisten Cosmetics, and it was a collab they did with Fairy Freak. And this is a limited edition. First of all, I normally hate packaging like this. I like it square. I like it to sit flat on its side or on its back. I don't care. But this looks like a tattoo to me, and I love tattoos. Really? Really? I like tattoos? Is that right? Did somebody say I like tattoos? I do like tattoo art, and this with the barbed wire around it is gorgeous, and then the flames, and then this opens this way, like that. And now these are all split as well. The fun thing about this is Glisten Cosmetics sells all of their shades is singles, like you can get them. So these are all magnetic, and you can pop them out and put them back in. But short of that, this was gifted to me by one of my makeup enablers, David Burkett, and I love it. I do use this. I do love it. I'm never getting rid of it. The highlighter palettes. I only have 4. I only have 4. And these are all great. The first one is from P. Louise. This was in their advent calendar for 2023. It's stunning. I love this. These are all the colors I use. This white all of them have a gold tone. This is right up my alley. I am not getting rid of that. One that I'm almost done, I'm going to get rid of on my own. I don't need to give it away, is the Gourmand Girls Bold and Brilliant palette. I love this. As you can see, I've panned it. This is the Unearthly Cosmetics highlighter palette that came with their very first Halloween mystery box. This is spectacular. They're all marbled. I will not get rid of this. I love this palette. I'm so thrilled that I have it. And then I was sent this by Teresa Mulhern, who I love. This is a Noctilescent palette from Blend Bunny. It's their highlighter palette. And I think this is gorgeous, but I love this. And this was a gift. I'm never getting rid of it. So 4 highlighter palettes intact. I have 2 yellow palettes. two. The first one, Midas Cosmetics, such a good company, and I'm so sorry that they went down, but this is their lemonade palette. This is the best yellow palette ever, ever. There are some good yellow palettes that are out there, but this is the best one. It's gorgeous. Well done, Midas Cosmetics. And that makes me feel better about getting rid of those cake liners. This, Juvia's Place, you know I love me some Juvia's Place. This is their Nubian Glow palette. It's a nice palette. I'm getting rid of it. No offense to anyone, but this is just one of those palettes for me that I don't use. I really actually use the hell out of this pan here, the glitter. But the rest of it, I have these tones in other palettes. So unfortunately, that's going by the wayside. This came in the P. Louise Advent Calendar this year. This is a Moment on the Lips. It is an actual lipstick palette. It's fine. There's not, oops, I hate anything with a brush in it because this little ribbon sticks out, it gets frayed, it gets dirty. Brushes in these things are never good. And now this is P. Louise. They have some good brush products that they sell, but the ones they stick in things are never good. I'm not keeping this. The reason I'm not keeping this is that it's just too neutral. The next group I have are contours. The first contour I have is actually a bronzer from Juvia's Place. This is their deep dark bronzer, and it looks like that. Some contours, if they're too dark, can actually look gray or unnatural. Do you know what I mean? They just look like, why do you have a gray line on your face? But this is a fantastic palette, so we're going to keep that. This came in the P. Louise Advent Calendar. This is a blush palette, but it's very orange. And I don't mind this as a blush, but none of these blushes are very declarative to me. But what this palette is great for me, is bronzer. So I'm going to keep it for that. The other contour palette that I have is actually a contour palette. This was in the Advent Calendar too. This is the Just Roll With It palette. My only complaint about this is that it's gingerbread men. I wish these had been hearts or squares because we're getting shortchanged on product here. Is it a deal breaker? No. So I won't be getting rid of any of my contours. The next category, neutrals. Neutrals. So the first one that I have, and keep in mind, none of these are in order of anything. They're just how they're stacked. Oops, as I knock everything over. So the first one, P. Louise Going Solo. This is a palette that came out. There's a lot of buzz about this. It was in a mystery box, I think, or a budget box. It is P. Louise Gray Tone palette. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with this. It's great P. Louise formula. It works really well, but it's just not broad enough for me. This is not black, it's gray. This is not white, it's bone. These two colors are very similar. There's only two shimmers right here. So why these two colors are so close? And they're not, there's no pure white, and then they jump, like it's like light, light, light. Ugh. So I'm getting rid of this. The only reason I'm getting rid of this because I love a black toned, gray tone palette. This just isn't, as I say, broad enough. And now, this is Delancey. They are a new company to me. I had never heard of them before, but I got sent this by one of my Patreoners, Nick Sweet. He's another makeup enabler. And this is their Panda collection. And this is a gray tone palette. But look how much better this is. This is gorgeous. Now, we've got a matte black here, and then we've got a black with a glitter in it. And I'm not a huge fan of necessarily mattes with glitter in it because the minute you start to blend them out, the glitter disappears or falls out or whatever. But I like to set my eyeliner with a black that has some glitter in it. And this one's good. It's a silver glitter, or maybe it's a black glitter. I don't know, but it reflects the light. This is a pearl, and the rest are all mattes. And I love it. This is a great palette. I will not be getting rid of that anytime. This is another love tape from P. Louise. This is called The Love Affair. This is orange. It's a very orangey palette. There is nothing wrong with this. It's just very neutral, very orange. I have these colors in other things. Shimmer. Oh, and the rest are all mattes. This is not a bad palette. This brown is nice, but it's not, I don't know. It's just, I don't use this. I never reach for it. I think I got it in a mystery box. I'm not a big fan of this color story either on its own. I like to have other things, and there's nothing wrong with this palette at all. I just don't use it, so I'm gonna declutter that one. Ooh, I got sent this from Martha. She's one of my Patreoners and a makeup enabler. This is the Chucky palette from Glamlight. I have never owned Glamlight before, and then Martha sent me two this year, and this is one of them. And this is another almost gray tone palette, and it's not all that. There's some color in here. Like, for instance, this is either a black with red in it or a red with black in it, a shimmer, and it's stunning. This is a matte black. This is another matte black with red glitter in it. This stone color, I live for this color. Silver is gorgeous. I've used this only once. This deep wine color, oh, I just can't get over it. I've used this once. I'm obsessed with this palette. My next one is a Stack 'em Up palette from P. Louise. And this is another one. There's their orange. This is another one. Very similar to the Love Tape one. There's nothing wrong with this palette at all, but I have all of these colors and others, and I know someone else will use this more than I am. So I'm going to declutter this one as well. Ooh, Ace Beauté. It was Juvia's Place and Ace Beauté that I first started buying makeup from. And this is one that I got in, I think it was the Ace Beauté mystery bag last year. There was a mystery bag, Christmas bag, I don't know what it was. But I love this palette. First of all, I love the Ace Beauté formula. They revamped their formula. I had no problem with the old formula. I don't care. So I don't know if this is the old or the new, but because I got it in a mystery box, I'm assuming it might be the old formula. This gorgeous green, this yellow. This color is called Soil. I love it. Yeah, I just think that this is a great little palette. I'm not getting rid of this anytime soon. This is another Ace Beauté palette. I got this from Darcy, who is the owner of Saints, Angels, Sinners. She found this. This is called Dusty Rose. Sorry, Smoky Rose. Oh, I don't know why I have that there. This is a surprising palette to me because I love it. Look at it. It's practically just a contour palette. This is a shimmer, 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 shimmer. Everything else is matte, except this black has a bit of a glitter in it, and I can't tell if it's I think it's a silver. I don't think it's anything specific. Although I don't think I'll use this as much as I would other palettes. This is a great eyebrow palette for me, so I'm not going to get rid of that. Juvia's Place, the Warrior. This was their first Warrior. They have 3. This is gorgeous. I have never used it. Can you tell? I have never used it, and because of that, I'm passing it on. Oh, please don't tell Juvia's Place. They will call. They're already worried. I haven't bought anything from them in a while. Oh, speaking of the Warrior, here's the Warrior 2. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous contour blush palette because it's all matte. Not one of these is a shimmer. The only problem is the black, which was gorgeous, broken fell out. I can use this for eyebrows. I can use this for a bit of contour, a bit of blush. But here's the thing. I do not. I have other things. So unfortunately, don't tell Juvia's Place. I'm getting rid of this one too. Here's one of the reasons why I'm not keeping those two is I got this from P. Louise in the Advent calendar. This is the Taste palette. It's huge. It's 50 pans. And all of the colors that were in both those Juvia's Place palettes, the P. Louise Stack 'em Ups and Love Tapes, they're all in here. I'd rather keep this one big palette and have everything in it than 3 or 4 little palettes that don't do that much for me. I am more than happy to keep that. Oh, I would like to say that Advent calendar from P. Louise that was sent to me, David Burkett sent it to me, and thank you, David. I've never had a more fantastic present. The generosity aside, the fact that I'm not getting rid of a lot of the Advent calendar contents because it was just too useful to me. Something else that David sent me, the nude palette from Beauty Bay. Beauty Bay, Beauty Bay, Beauty Bay. I love Beauty Bay. I also love this palette because it's 42 shades of neutral tones. I use this for contour. I use this for eyebrows. This bottom row is all gray tones. There's not a lot of shimmers in here. It's not a shimmer heavy palette. It's mostly mattes, and I love that. So we'll be keeping a hold of that. Thank you very much. Blush is something I didn't think I had a lot of. And then I started to go through my collection. And I'm a little embarrassed by myself. I'm not ashamed to tell you. The first blush palette I have is from Juvia's Place. This is the Fumi Deslou Vol Juvia's Place collab. It is called the Queen palette, and it is gorgeous. This was never in stock. This is one of those things when I first got onto Juvia's Place, I was like, oh, that looks nice. Never in stock, never in stock, never in stock, never in stock. And then I bought my first mystery bag from anyone from Juvia's Place. It was Valentine's Day. This was in it. I am thrilled to not get rid of that. That I will never get rid of it. I don't care. I don't care. P. Louise. This came in a budget box, I think. This is a little complexion palette. It's gorgeous. First of all, it's quilted. It's very Chanel-y. It's very Vuitton. It's very bougie, bougie, bougie. We're starting with a highlighter, and then we have the two blushes, and then we have a contour. I love this. I love this. I love this. The only problem with it, it's not dark enough for me. These are all too neutral. So, don't tell P. Louise. Don't tell P. Louise, but I'm getting rid of that. Oh my God, it hurt. Speaking of P. Louise, this is my favorite blush palette right now. This is the one I use the most. I'm wearing it right now. This is something I got in a budget box, and it's 3 of their blush singles. And you can get their blush singles on their website right now. I love this. Never get rid of it. Here is another Delancey palette. This was also sent to me by Nick, same as the Panda palette. And this is their blush palette. And this is great. I love this palette. I haven't used it much. I have a plan to use it. But when I first got this, I used the hell out of it because I was just so intrigued. This highlighter right here is my favorite highlighter, short of the Gourmand Girls Bold and Brilliant. But this pink is a beautiful mid-tone pink. This is one of those pinks that goes down beautifully first and then you build with others. And yeah, I'm not getting rid of that anytime soon. I also have the Juvia's Place volume 4 blush palette. And shut up. But I, of course, worship Juvia's Place, but that is one of my favorite blush palettes. This is from a beauty bakery. This is their Queen of Tarts palette. But I'm going to be honest, as much as I like this, I'm getting rid of it because I have too many blushes and I'm not using them all. So there you go. Another blush palette. This is the first one that I love. This is the Summer of Blush by Trixie Mattel. As you can see, I am panning this hard. I'm not throwing this out because I'm almost done it. And I do like to try and make an effort to use it before I use other things, just so I can get rid of it. Will I rebuy it? No. The reason I won't rebuy it is that this was a great first blush palette for me, but I've moved on to more pigmented palettes. Speaking of Trixie, Martha sent me this. This is the Back to the Fuchsia palette. This is another blush palette. This is so unique. This pink tone is very dusty. This red, kind of a gray tone red. I mean, I think you can see it in the palette. And then this is very metallic, the highlighter, very silver. I do like this palette, but I am just going to say I'm not using it. I'm not using it. It's, I really do feel that these tones aren't bright. They're a little dull for me. It's not a judgment on this, and I appreciate the gift, and I'm sorry that I'm not using it, but because I'm not using it, I want to give it to somebody who will, and we have a mutual friend, so I'm going to send her. Juvia's Place, the Saharan Blush Palette. They're a little darker than I would use, but I'm not getting rid of this palette because this pink and these two shades are stunning. I'm not getting rid of that. Teresa Mulhern, who I'm very honored to call a friend, sent me this from Blend Bunny. She also sent the Noctilescent palette. This is the Juicy Cheeks. There was Juicy Cheeks in another one. I don't know what the other one was, but this is the bright one. Look at these. Look at these. The yellow, the orange. These 3 colors are my favorite. I use these a lot. You know, now that I'm looking at this, here we go. This is it. As I'm talking about the brightness of this palette, here is that Saharan again. I feel like this orange and this orange are really close. And this pink are very close. I'm going to declutter this. Oh, God. Oh, I'm so mean. I'm so mean. And then the final blush palette that I have here is, it's the icing on the top. This is in the P. Louise Advent calendar, and this is nice. I like this one. This one is very, it's a lot pinker in person. This is closer to me, but this is also a much better contour palette, I think, than it is a blush palette for me. I'm going to hold on to that. We'll see. I might have to revisit the blush situation, but there you go. So here is a category I thought I had a lot more in, but I don't, which makes me feel better. It's purple, the purple palette. So the first one I have here, Beauty Bay, love them, love them, love them. Age of Opulence, love it, love it, love it. I thought this was such a great palette when I first saw it. It's very blue. I've used this a lot. The black up here in the corner I've already panned. All of these shimmers are stunning. I have used them all. I'm keeping that. I'm not getting rid of that because even the neutrals that are in here are all usable to me. They're Unearthing Cosmetics Halloween Mystery Box 2002. This is the Chilling palette. It's purple and blue. It's mostly a bluer, but like that's a much more purpley blue in person, and then this is a shimmer. I'm not getting rid of that. I just think that's gorgeous. Juvia's Place, the violets. Oh, tell me all about it. I'm getting rid of this. I'm sorry. The reason I'm getting rid of this is because I don't use it. I don't think I've ever used it. I feel bad that I've never used it. I feel like when I started buying Juvia's Place, I started hoarding. I started collecting, and I started like, oh, I don't have that one, whether it was of use to me or not. And as beautiful as this is, I do have some other purple palettes that I think will cover all of this anyway, so we're going to get rid of that. Oof. Juvia's Place, the Nubian Royal. Oh, this is such a great purple palette. And one of the things that's great about this right here, this glitter, you can't tell because it's very metallic, but you can see I've panned half of it. It is not a palette I'm interested in getting rid of. I'm going to hold it off to the side though because we have another palette to look at. But this is the P. Louise World of Wonders palette. It's one of these obnoxiously unnecessary palettes that is huge. We've got that side of it. We also have the drawer with so this part of the palette is much bluer purple, and then this one is much redder purple. Now that said, let's have a look at this. Oh, yeah, I have that. I'm decluttering Juvia's Place. Oh, I can't believe I'm doing that. Of those 6 things, I have them all in here. They're all here. We're going to let this one be the purple palette for now. The next category is pinks and reds, I guess. But here we go. This is a P. Louise Stack 'em Up. This is their pink palette. I'm decluttering it. The only reason I'm decluttering it is because I have other pinks. Sweet Pinks by Juvia's Place. I'm not going to get rid of this one. This one covers the P. Louise. It's also gorgeous. So that's a keeper. Another keeper because, well, I've already established why I'm keeping these. This is from the Unearthing Cosmetics Halloween box. This is the Thirst. And I just have to tell you, I'm obsessed with this. This orange is much more neon in person. It is fantastic. Keepsies. Ace Beauty. This is another thing I think I got in a mystery box, Christmas box, something like that. I love this. I'm going to keep this one too. And then the reason that I'm getting rid of a lot of my other pink palettes is because P. Louise came out with this, but does it come in pink? And this is a great little palette. Now, first of all, I love that this isn't one of their obnoxious monstrosity palettes that has drawers and locks and all that crap, because look at it. It's just a palette. It's just a palette. And it's 32 shades. There's 32 shades in there. And the thing I like about these shades, this palette only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shimmers. Everything else is a matte. So this is a palette I'm going to get a lot of use out of. Next category, green. Oh. All right. On top of the pile, Beauty Moon Cosmetics, who is my favorite discovery of 2023. I have been really getting acquainted with them. They had a great Christmas bag this year. They had a great Halloween bag. I bought some stuff from them earlier in the year, and this was one of the things that I got. It's their Christmas palette from 2022. It was on sale for £3. They only had one left. But these shimmers, the formula, look at that. Can you see? It's like chrome, metallic. So I love Beauty Moon's formula. I was very happy to discover them. Next in the green family is the last of the quads from the Unearthly Cosmetics Halloween Mystery Box. This is the Creepy Crawly palette, and it's lovely. It is a fantastic green palette. I'm not getting rid of it. Speaking of not getting rid of it, Martha, my makeup enabler, sent me from Glamlight. Here's the second Glamlight she sent me. It is the Scooby-Doo palette, Ruh-Roh Raggy. The bottom row, all matte. The top row, all shimmers. This is spectacular. Their shimmer formula is very malleable, and it goes on. You don't need a lot of glue or to force it. You know, the only problem I have with this, the only problem is that these three middle mats right here are very close in tone. I used this a couple times. The first time I used it, the blending got away from me. So you have to really kind of pick your moments with everything, but gorgeous. Yeah. This is another Pillowy Stack 'em Up. This is their green one, and it was called Invest in Yourself, Babe. And this is really a unique green palette, let me tell you, because it's grungy. But I do love this palette, but we're decluttering it because I have other green palettes. I have way too many green palettes. So, don't tell me, Louise. This is one of P. Louise's love tapes. This was a limited edition Christmas 2 years ago. It is called Mistletoe. I'm not getting rid of this. It's such a great palette. I'm keeping that for sure. No problem. Don't force me. Okay. Now we need to just take a moment of solitude to remember the makeup brand that was BH Cosmetics. Oh my God. I think I only have a couple of BH Cosmetics palettes left. And I used to have the whole sweet shop, but they all started to go off on me. It's a great palette. If you like greens, this is a great palette. I'm decluttering it. I never use it. And when I realized that I was kind of over time slowly getting rid of other BH Cosmetics products because they were starting to go off, I thought, oh, I can't keep this. Now this one's fine. This one's fine. I checked a lot of these before I went through them because I didn't want to show palettes that I thought should be thrown out. And there is nothing wrong with the makeup in this. I don't know why this one's lasted over other color stories, but as much as I love this green palette, I am getting rid of it. Because Ace Beauté, the Oceanic palette, this is a very blue-leaning green palette, but it's got more green in it than blue. And this is the old formula, and I adore it. This is such a good palette. I don't use this near as much as I should, which is why I'm keeping it, because I would much rather use these greens and blues than like the BH Cosmetic one. So I'm not getting rid of that. That is a great blue-green palette. Here is a palette, the Tribe from Juvia's Place. This was another palette that was not in stock for the longest time, and then it was, and I bought it. And now, I don't hate this palette. I love this palette. Never used it. Look at how new and fresh it is. I've never used it. I literally opened the box and stuck it in my collection. I'm keeping this because I'm going to use it. And if I don't love it, I'm going to get rid of it. Ooh, I broke my no-buy last year over this palette. This came out in April. My birthday's in April. I bought this. This is the Artitude Cosmetics Man-Eater palette. Now, I know it looks like I've panned the black, but actually the black broke. And it has nothing to do with anything. It was nobody's fault. It's just, it broke. But look at that. This is, I put this in the greens, even though there are other colors in here, but I think this is a green-leaning palette for sure. There's 20 shades and 9 of them are mattes. Artitude Cosmetics, no way I'm getting rid of that. I just love them too much. This was sent to me by my enabler, David Burkett. This is the Kimchi Virgin Mojito palette. I'm keeping this because the yellows. I put this in the green pile because it's more greens, but this yellow here, exquisite. This yellow shimmer, exquisite. It's a great palette. Back to Beauty Bay, the Beauty Bay Fantasy palette. Oh, look at this. This is gorgeous. Now, there's only a couple of greens in here. Like, I think there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 greens. But this black here is a shimmer with green in it. I mean, it's a matte with green shimmer in it. Half of this palette is mattes. The other half are shimmers. Excellent, excellent. Not getting rid of it. It's too gorgeous. The Wilderness palette. This is a good palette. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a good palette. But I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to show you why right away. Here is the Beauty Bay Same Company, their Earthly palette. And when I open this, this is literally a mini, it's this on steroids. I'm not using either of these palettes near enough, but I feel like there's more going on in this one than in this one. So I'm going to declutter this one, which kills me because the Wilderness palette was limited edition. The last in the green family, P. Louise, the Money Shot. This is another reason why I'm getting rid of Wilderness, because look at all these greens right here. And then there's the drawer. These are all, I know they all look brown, but they are the most grungy, swampy greens you will ever see. And I love this palette so much. I love it. I used it just the other day. I'll use it tomorrow. It is a great palette. Now we're on to blue. Now, y'all know I wear a lot of blue and a lot of green makeup, and I have to tell you that they are the two families of palettes that I have the least of. So the first one, this was one of the first palettes that Martha sent me, my makeup enabler. This is the Trixie Cosmetic Daytime Realness. It's meant to look like a VHS tape, and this is the color story. There's a little mirror in there. And this is great. Now, one of the things that I hate about Trixie Cosmetics is for a queen that wears a lot of black on her own face, she has yet to produce a true black. Every color she does is not black. Now, if the dark color in here had been a blue, like a deep blue, I would have been fine. But it's almost a brown. I don't understand this color. I hate it. This is one of the few Trixie Cosmetics palettes I like. But I'm getting rid of it. And here's why, Martha. As great as this was on the anniversary of this release, Trixie released the Nighttime Realness palette, and this is the exact same palette with a third row. So here we go. These top 2 rows are repeated. These rows are the top 2 on this one, and you can see that right there. But look at how much bigger the pans are in the new one. Do you know what I mean? These are smaller, and this is bigger. So I'm already, the reason, like, I don't need doubles of stuff, but this bottom row, first of all, there is my dark blue. I don't know what that color is. And I have to tell you, in this palette, this looks more purple, like a deep purple, but in that first one, it's brown. I love this palette, so we'll be keeping this one, and I'm going to declutter the Daytime Realness. Moving on, I talked about this already. This is the Fumi Des Vold collab with Juvia's Place Disco Party. This palette is stunning. Chloe from my Patreon group sent me hers because she wasn't using it. So now I have 2, and that's great because I'm starting to wear them out. I'll get through one and I'll get through the other. But yeah, I'm very happy to have those. Next is the P. Louise Stack 'em Ups, the blue one. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. There's one shimmer there, a couple of satins. But I'm going to get rid of this because I have other blue palettes that I actually enjoy more. And no offense, but I don't reach for this. Speaking of Stack 'em Ups, here's another one. This one is the purple one. This should have been in my purple palette. It wasn't. But this is gorgeous. But again, I'm going to get rid of this because I've got that huge purple palette. I don't need all of these. Speaking of Juvia's Place, we have the Olori 2. This is nice. This is a nice palette. But there's one matte. Everything else is a satin. and I don't like satins very much, and I don't think I've ever used this palette. So we're decluttering it. Oh. This is the Juvia's Place I Live, I Love Ice. This is a gorgeous, like, pale blue. It's not pastel. It's because this is an off-white blue. This is a powder blue. This is a satin, two shimmers, and this is a glitter. This glitter is like a rainbow purple, and it is so gorgeous. It really is. But I never use this. I'm going to declutter that too. From P. Louise, the Winter Wonderland palette. This was limited edition. I think I got this in a mystery box, or I got it on sale. Either way, I'm not getting rid of this because I do like this. Like where the Olari is, I'm sorry, with the I Live, I Love Ice, I feel like this one does what this one's doing without satins. So just because of formula, I'm going to get rid of that, and we're going to keep this one. Speaking of things I rarely use, and it kills me, this was a gift from Wilhelmina and her fabulous partner, Jeffrey. This is the Juvia's Place Wahala palette 2. And the reason I love this is because it is a blue palette right here. All of this. And up until this point, Juvia's Place did not have blue, really. That's the one color they didn't really have a lot of. And then this here is their first multi-chrome that they ever used. I'm keeping this because I do like it, and this is another one I have not used very much. So I'm keeping it to use, and we'll see if I'm going to keep it through the year. And now, this is the last of the blue. Beauty Bay Midnight. This is one of the reasons why I'm getting rid of so much of my other blue stuff, because look at that. It goes from purple to blue to black. It's got all the colors. It's got shimmers. It's Beauty Bay formula. I love it, love it, love it. But this is a gorgeous palette, and for anyone who likes blue, you can't go wrong. Now we're in the home stretch. This is my last category, and it's just rainbow palettes. And I have far too many of these. Far too many. If I can thin this herd out, I'll be very, very impressed with myself. All right. I have a stack of Saints, Angels, Sinners right here, and I am not going to get rid of them. But I'm also not going to open this one because I broke the black and I need to press it. But this is their Secret Sinner Society. I just need to press the black, and then we can start playing with it properly. Last Halloween, Saints, Angels, Sinners released this, which is the Over the Moon palette. And this is beautiful. I love this too. This is a matte, and then the other three are satins. Shimmers. This is a duochrome. This pink, that gold is stunning. This green, shut up, not going anywhere. This also I got very recently too from Saints, Angels, Sinners in PR, so thanks. Almost all of my Saints, Angels, Sinners is PR, so I'm not going to get rid of some of it now, only because it's recent, and I think the other ones that I have actually like them. I may have decluttered one or two of the shimmer palettes that I got earlier last year, but I haven't really thinned this out too much. But this is their Guardian Angel. This is a nice little palette. I like this palette. I haven't used it yet, so I'm not decluttering it, but that color story is a little neutral for me. If I'm going to declutter something, it might be that at some point, but right now I am not in any rush to get rid of it. You're a Gift. I got this just a few months ago. This I've already used the hell out of. This green color looks so good on the lid. Same with that one. They're stunning. This blue is gorgeous. These are all mattes here. This is a stunning palette. I'm not getting rid of that anytime soon. And this is another one, Air Baby. This is an all matte palette. Very rare for Saints, Angels, Sinners to do an all matte palette. And I love this. I love this. Now, do I have these tones in other palettes? Probably. But I haven't really used this as much as I'd like. And I love these purples and blues and the fact that there's only one green. Like it's a unique palette to me. So I'm going to definitely hold on to that for now. This is another kimchi palette. David Burkett sent me this. This is the Mojito Mango Tango palette. This is lovely. There is nothing wrong with this palette, but I have never used it. Now, when David sent it to me, I had not used reds and pinks. I've used them now more, and I'm much more in tune with them. But I think that's what was the problem with this. But there's a lot of mattes in this. Most of these colors are mattes. There's only a couple of shimmers. But I am going to declutter this because I do have other palettes that I'll use. And there's nothing wrong with this, but I think that this will have more love in a different environment. Oh, Gourmand Girls. This is the first palette I ever bought from them. Vivacious. This is stunning, but I've never used it. Look at it. Clean, 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 clean. But I am going to use it. I'm holding on to this. I mean, do I have these colors in other palettes? Absolutely. This is the thing with rainbow palettes. I like them better than the monochromatic palettes because you have other colors in them, but sometimes the color stories aren't what you're looking for. So I am going to keep that for now. Oh, Beauty Moon Cosmetics. This is the Starstruck palette. I have been using this. This is gorgeous. All of these are 1, 2, 3 glitters. This is also a glitter or a shimmer. The rest are all satins, which I'm not a big fan of usually, but I do like these colors. And sorry, I just got a fleck on there. But I have been using the glitters on looks. Beauty Moon Cosmetics, if you like shiny, sparkly, bright festival makeup, they're the place to go. Artitude Cosmetics. This is my favorite drag makeup palette ever. If you are a drag queen and you're on the run, whether from the law or tour, this is your one-stop shop. You don't need any other palette than this. So I'm not getting rid of that anytime soon. Oh, Saints, Angels, Sinners, a fairy tale palette. This came out last year. I got this in PR. This is a great little palette. Now, the only problem with this palette, I've used this a few times. I like this palette more for its shimmers, which is odd because I'm not a big shimmer girl. But these shimmers are all stunning. The mattes are fabulous. There's nothing wrong with the mattes, but I have them in other places. Am I getting rid of this palette? No, because the shimmers are so unique. This is the first Saints Angel Sinners palette I ever had. It was my favorite of 2022. It is the Together palette. It's a collab with Gourmand Girls, 2 great makeup companies creating one fantastic palette. And these shimmers, these are all duochromes. They're so gorgeous. I could vomit. So yeah, I'm not getting rid of that anytime soon. This is my first Unearthly Cosmetics, but I bought this when it was Alien Cosmetics, and this is a collab that they did with Sydney Nicole, and that's her on the cover. And this palette, I love this. And the formulas are still great. This is such a good palette. I don't use this near as much as I should. I love that palette. This is Beauty Bay. This is one of their limited edition, the Sunset Horizons. This is a great palette for a sunset eye look. But I never use this palette. I have all of these colors somewhere else, and they're all fine somewhere else. So I'm going to declutter this. This is their Carnival All-Stars palette. They have 5 Carnival palettes. 5. They're all huge. They're like 50 pans. It's ridiculous. And they took all of their best, most popular colors from all of those palettes and put it into one. And I love that. That is the ultimate rainbow palette. There's also only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shimmers. Everything else is matte. And if you've used a Carnival palette, then you're familiar with these. So these are all gorgeous. Not getting rid of it. Speaking of Be Perfect, David Burkett sent me this. This is the Rain palette. This was done with Alina, who I don't know who that is, but this is another standard rainbow palette, but the depth of these tones, they're very pigmented. They're very rich. I just love that because it definitely stands out on stage. This is the Juvia's Place Culture palette. This came out, I think it was last year. Stunning. Look at it. It's stunning. It's such a good palette. It really, really is. But I have never used it. Declutter. Who am I? What happened? Speaking of Carnival from Be Perfect, here is the Carnival 3 Love Tahiti. This is their biggest seller. Everyone loved this. Everyone loved this. It is a stunning palette. It is a stunning palette. It is mostly mattes. There's a couple of shimmers in here. The shimmer formula is fine. This is a great little palette. I'm going to keep this one because A, it's a big rainbow palette, but also I haven't used it that much, and I really do like that palette. It's gorgeous. This is the Carnival 5 Interstellar. I am not getting rid of this for one reason and one reason only. This section here, these three, this gray tone section right here. I love this so much. I nearly fainted when I saw it. Yeah, this is a gorgeous palette. I'm not getting rid of this anytime soon. This is another Carnival palette. This is their XL Pro palette. And there is nothing wrong with this palette, but I have never used it. It's a little more neutral heavy than I like. Also, it has these face palette highlighter, and they're all highlighters, but they're just I don't like palettes that have those in the eyeshadow because I feel like they end up getting contaminated because of the kickback using all these colors. This is a great palette. I have never used it ever, and I love it, but I'm not keeping it. Oh, speaking of Carnival, this was one of the palettes I was so excited to get. This is the Antidote. This is the Carnival 4. And I do love this palette. But it is very neutral heavy. All of this is all neutral. And then we have this beautiful like red tone side, and then we have this beautiful green tone side. But I have only used this twice. I'm getting rid of it. P. Louise, Watch the Queen Conquer. This is such a great palette. It's got two sides to it. It's got the pinky orange side, and then it's got the like greeny orange side, yellowy orange. I'm not getting rid of this. This is a recent P. Louise purchase. I bought this. They had a budget box, and they teased, or their budget box. They teased 2 Halloween palettes. They had the Hocus Pocus, and then this, the Droplet of Magic. And look at this. This is the reason I wanted it, this side. First of all, the black and gray tones. Again, I don't know what my obsession is. I don't know. It's a problem. But then these blues are also cool and bordering on gray. And then on the other side, very red and purple. And I love this. So there's a lot of tones in here that I'm getting rid of in the stack 'em ups and such. And these are all in here. So hooray for me. We're keeping that one. Oh, this is a great palette. This is Sensorium from Alexis Stone. This is a great palette. I don't use this near as much as I should. It's a classic rainbow. I'm going to keep this, though, because a lot of the tones in here are so unique. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shimmers. Everything else is a matte. And I love it. From the yellow here and the greens here. So good. This is a black in the corner. It's very good. The next one I have, Beauty Bay. This is their Bright Mattes. This is such a spectacular palette because it's all mattes. This is 42 shades, not a shimmer in the lot. It's stunning. From the purple, the blue, every line has its own color. And even the top line, even though it has some gray tones here, it's neutrals. But this is the best palette. This is... In fact, if I had to get rid of everything, I'd keep that one. I got sent this from a supporter early, like more than 5, 6 years ago. This is the, and you see it had a brush in it and then it fell out. This is the Alyssa Edwards palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is great. I've used the hell out of this. This is the white here. It's almost done. The black, it has a pan. All of the colors in here. This yellow is spectacular. This is a great drag queen palette. This is one of the few drag queen endorsed palettes, in my opinion, that is a good drag palette. I'm not getting rid of that anytime soon. Ooh, here we go. This is Beauty Bay. This is their Pastels palette. This is a lovely palette. I'd never use it. One of the reasons why I don't use this is I find a lot of these pastel tones are very neon-y. And I find because of that, they don't blend well. And the reason I want a good pastel palette is to blend out colors. Like if I have a green, I want to blend it out with maybe a lighter green. But these, the greens in here are fine. The yellow, the orange, not so much. So we're gonna declutter that. This is a good palette. This is from Midas. This is the what is it? Volume 1.2. It's Just a nice little six pan, nice little colors in it. These are, there's nothing wrong with this. This is a shimmer. Everything else is a matte. There's nothing wrong with this. I never use it. Declutter. Sorry. No offense to anybody. This is a great palette. This is from Unlikely Cosmetics, Canadian. Yes, shut Canadian. This is the Ugly palette, and it is beautiful. Look at that. The yellows in here are gorgeous. These are shimmers down here. This whole row down here shimmers. Everything else is a matte. Orange, red, pink. This is a stunning little palette. I'm not getting rid of that anytime soon. This is BH Cosmetic. I knew I had another one, not just the pistachio. This is the Laws. Oh, I thought it was Lost in Los Angeles. It's Los Angeles. This is a nice little palette for matte, like if you want pastels to blend this out. But I have never used this. And this palette has a lot of shimmers. It also has, it's neutral leaning to me, which I'm not a big fan of. So I'm going to declutter this one as well. Saints, Angels, Sinners, Be the Gift. This is a great palette because of that color right there. Look at it. It looks like it's already got a light behind it. I've used this color more than some palettes. But this gold, it's a multi-chrome. This is a multi-chrome. This is a gorgeous little palette. This was a Christmas palette, so it is kind of greeny, goldy, very festival, but it's also the depth in this is really good, and the shimmers that are in here are really unique to themselves. So I think they're worth keeping, and we'll see how we go. Juvia's Place Warrior 3 palette. I'm not getting rid of that because it is stunning. Zulu by Juvia's Place. I'm not getting rid of this either. Look at this. It's another gorgeous palette. But now that I look at it, I'm wondering how similar are these two? The Warrior one has these blue tones down here, and the Zulu doesn't. I like that yellow more than I like that. That yellow is more like an egg yolk yellow. This one has a brown. This one doesn't. All right, I'm keeping both. If I were going to pick one to keep, though, I would pick this one, the Zulu, over the Warrior. But that purple in the middle here is just too beautiful not to use. So for now, we'll keep them both. For now. This is the Festival by Juvia's Place. This is a gorgeous palette, too. Very nice. Lots of blush tones in here. This shade here is like a black shimmer. This is more a blush palette than anything, but I'm keeping that one because I do use this one as well. Oh, Ace Beauté. When I got my first order from Ace Beauté, I got the Oceanic palette and this one, the Nostalgia palette. They were sold as a duo. This is the old palette formula. I'm not getting rid of this. Gone Rogue. Oh, this is Lois Cosmetics. This is a great company that you don't hear much from anymore. I'm not sure if they're still in business or if they're closing. I'm not sure what's going on with them, but this is my favorite palette from them, and that is why. Look at it. It is so beautiful. The only problem I have with this palette is this shade right here. It's a glitter, and it's as hard as rocks. I've bought this palette twice, and that shade is always like this. I bought my second one to replace the first one because I even chipped away at that to get it out. Because this is, when you look at this is the most beautiful glitter. But I don't know what the carrier is. I don't know how it works. I don't even know. I'm going to try and like loosen it up with some mixing media, stuff like that. But it's not great. I'm going to keep this for now because I do enjoy. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm going to declutter it. Oh, this is one of my favorite palettes from Gourmand Girls. I bought this specifically because of the shimmers in here. All of these down here and these two here, these are all shimmers that are like toppers. They go sheer over other colors, and I can't get enough of that. It's a unique palette. I'm not getting rid of that. It's too pretty. Oh, speaking of too pretty, Garden of Juvia's. Now, because I got rid of the pastel palette from Beauty Bay and the Los Angeles one from BH, I'm keeping that one. This has true pastels in it. Also, all of these shimmers, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shimmers in here, which is more than half of the palette. They're all stunning. I can't get enough of them. They're too good to give away, so we're keeping that one. Oh, here we go. Here's Blend Bunny. I have 2 palettes from them. This is the primal one. I love that. The reason I love that, big black and big white. Just very intense colors. There's nothing in here that I feel I've got anything. They're close, but not the same, so I'm going to keep that one. A gorgeous formula, too. Also, here is the Blend Bunny First Palette Blends. This is all matte. And again, this is one of those palettes that I just love. Do I want this over the bright mattes? Yeah, because it's different. A lot of the pinks in here are better than in the bright mattes. There's just some shades that are in here that isn't in the bright mattes one from Beauty Bay. But also, Blend Bunnies, their formula is so beautiful. It blends so beautifully. Ooh, look, I have a Norvina palette. This is the volume 5. Oh, sorry, volume 3. I got sent this. David Burkett sent me this. See if I can open it with nails on. This is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. The only problem is it's all one tone. There's no depth in here whatsoever. If you're going to do anything with this palette, you need to bring in some darker tones from somewhere else. I'm going to keep this though because I feel like a lot of these yellows and oranges that are in here are so beautiful. And this is much brighter in person than when you see it on camera. Another palette I have from Norvina is the volume 6 one. This one, I was very excited. I bought this on sale from Sephora. I never buy from Sephora. But I like this one. This one is great. The way it's set up from dark to the lightest. This row up here is all shimmers and glitters. But I do love this palette. So do I need it over some others? Probably not. Is Norvina the best formula out there? No. But I haven't used this enough to just discredit it. So there you go. And that's it. That is everything. Okay, so I had 117 palettes, did I say? I am getting rid of 33 palettes. I am so excited to get rid of 33 palettes. Don't ask me for them. I'm not giving them to you. These are all ready. By the time you watch this, they've already been given away. Or someone's called dibs. But I do have a close circle of people that I first run these by, and then definitely my Patreoners. So now that I've gotten rid of 33 palettes, what am I going to do with the rest of them, you ask? Well, my plan this year is to not buy any new makeup at all. I am not going to say no to people sending me makeup if they want, or PR, but I'm not buying any. And the reason is because I'm going to use all the makeup I have. From that, if I am using it and I still like the palette, I will keep it. If I'm using it and I'm realizing, well, it's not as good as this one, or that one's better, or blah, 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 then I will thin out the herd more then. But I will do that as a part 2 to this, or maybe a mid-year or end of year. We'll see. But I will not be buying any new palettes. Now, I do want to disclose that I have a haul video that is either up right now or will be. No, it's up right now. I know it's up right now. That is makeup that I got. So I will integrate those into the collection. And the nice thing is I feel like I've made room for those new things by getting rid of some of these old things. So I feel like we're on the right track here. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And leave a comment down below. Those are the 3 best ways you can support the Fingerdoo review. Let me know, do you have any of these palettes? Did you declutter anything this year? How many palettes is too many? How many isn't enough? Just let me know what you think either way in the comments below. Now, if you would like to support the Fingerdoo review even further, there is the YouTube thanks button located just below this screen. And I have links in my description box for leaving a tip or due through PayPal, joining the Fingerdoo family on Patreon, and getting your Wilma merch off of my Redbubble store. Until next time, miss me! Mwah! Seriously. Oh, I feel lighter already. It's so exciting.